Hi everyone and welcome for this tutorial how to paint the captain with the Deathwing colors. I'm going to use Dark Angel Green, Middle Green from Prince August, Mood Green from Games Workshop, Mephisto Red from Games Workshop, Varian Red from Prince August, Auric Armor Gold, Gulliman Flesh, Canotech Alloy, Turquoise from Procolor, and from Prince August some Flat Earth Brown. At the beginning I push some laser brown primer from Army Painter, and I'm going to use some white with my airbrush to push different layer of white, and step by step to have a white the more and more strong. You can see that I not fix the shield and the head just to be able to paint them separately. It will be more easy for me for this kind of model, because the shield is going to give me some trouble if I want to push my light on that spot, for example. The more important is to take care about having some transition and pushing layer by layer more highlight. Now I'm going to use a little bit my brush to push every edges in white and to have a strong contrast. And I push that on every way I need, on edges and step by step on some different kind of surfaces. Use always the side of your brush to push your color. That's really important. After that, to clean up a little bit more my transition, I'm going to use again the airbrush just with some white. Now with some Flat Earth from Prince August, this is a brown color, I'm going to push in every small recesses of my armor to push more shadow. It's pretty interesting to paint some Dark Angel army, because you have three different ways to paint it. In black for the Raven Wing, everything is in a fast attack. In white, as you can see right now, for all the elites, and in green for the troops. So it's pretty interesting, because it's sometimes painting all an army with the same color is a little bit boring, and by that way you can have something really more fun to do. As you can see, I show you on this tutorial more elements, more steps, just for you to see how I apply my paint depending on the type of surfaces I reach. More I can use the side of my brush, better will be my transition. If you have any question, you can put it in the comment section and I will answer as soon as possible. Now you can see I push some Dark Angel Green to push my first base color on all the green part, and after I'm going to make the same for all the red part on all the miniatures. By the way, during this process I'm going to push the same color on my different elements, so the body, but by the way the shield and the head if it's necessary. I use some Mephiston red as base for my red color. It's pretty interesting because it's a little bit dark red, but it's very covering, so it's really more easy to push all your first base. So now I'm going to mix my middle green from Prince Auguste and my dark angel green from Games Workshop to pushing my first highlights on every closes. Take your time at this moment and push in only one direction, the direction where the light is going to be the more lightning, so the more reflection of light. Take care about the surfaces you are going to reach. Every time you need to reach a smaller and smaller surfaces to have the better transition you can. Step by step, I'm going to add more and more middle green into my mix to have more and more highlight on my minis. Now with some middle green directly, I'm pushing again on the smaller surfaces, and by the way, I'm going to push a lot of light on the edges. If you have any question, just ask in the comments. That's really welcome. Take care about always having very few color on your brush. You need that to have the better control you can on your paint. And now with some mood green, I'm going to push again my highlight on some few parts. The two important things is about the dilution and the quantity of paint you have on your brush. I will try for the next years to propose something, some coaching about how to dilute and how quantity you need to have of paint on your brush. But as you can see, I just have a little bit of paint at the end of my brush. You don't need more, excepted when you push your base. Now I'm going to clean my different transition just by using some dark angel green, very diluted, and I push into my different recesses. Always take care to preserve your highlight. That's the most important things. And now my last point of highlight on the green will be a mix between mud green and white, just to pushing a little bit more highlight. Now I'm going to use some white color. I'm going to dilute to have the consistency of milk into my paint, and I'm going to push my color with the side of my brush once again to have more and more highlight on the parts I want. Remember, I'm a French, so sometimes my English is not necessarily perfect. If you want, you can always correct my English into the comment. That's always welcome. Now with some vermilion red from Prince Auguste, I'm going to push again and again my highlight. Don't worry about your transition, because as you know, the red is not necessarily a very covering color, so you can push it without diluting a lot. You just have to push always in one direction, the direction you want the more light. And now I'm going to push on every edges and very small area some Trolls Layer orange, and at the end I'm just going to mix a little bit this Trolls Layer orange with a little bit of white to push my last highlight, who will be some few and small point. Always keep in mind, at beginning we are going to push on surfaces, and after that on small line, and after that on just some few points. Every time you are going to focus and reduce the surfaces you are going to reach, more you are going to have a better quality and a better speed into your paint. That can be a solution if you paint some model for competition, even if you paint some model just for playing with, that work in the two cases. With some red vermilion I come back just to create better transition between the orange and the red. Now I'm going to push my base on all the metallic parts. I push some Auric Armor Gold from Games Workshop, but you can use every kind of gold you want. This, I don't make a lot of true metal painting. I use a lot the non-metallic metal style, but in that way it was pretty cool and easy to do, because I'm going to use some Gulliman Flesh just to push all my shadow into the metallic part. The good thing is this kind of ink, it's a little bit brilliant, so I'm going to continue to have the reflection of metallic parts. And when it's totally dry, you can see it's really more dark, so I come back just with my first color, the Auric Armor Gold, to push my highlight on every edges I need. As you can see, when I use metallic I don't dilute too much, because the paint is going to be strange. So I just tap my brush on the different surfaces. Now with some black from Pro Color, but you can use all kind of black. I just don't really like the Abaddon black because it's not very covering. By the way, you can always use it, for sure. And now I'm going to use some Canoptech alloy to push more highlights on the different metallic part. Now again with some black, I'm going to make some distinction between my different elements. This lining is going to help me to have a better visibility on all the different parts of my minis. Now I'm going to push a little bit Canoptech alloy again on the gold parts, just to pushing a little bit more my contrast. As you can see, it's a very different kind of tutorial I show you right now, because I start the gold, I don't finish them, I come back on, because during the process and depending of the different color, I'm going to try to find a good balance between the different color. And right now, for example, I come back on the gold again with the Canoptech, just because I need it more strong, and I need more strong highlight on the gold, so I use Canoptech just on some few points to have something clean. Now again with some black from Procolor, I come back and I start some letter. For that I'm going to make very simple form, some simple small line. Don't worry if you make some mistake, because we are going to come back with some white to clean everything and to push every kind of mistake out just by using some white, just to remove a little bit and to clean my freehand. Once again, if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and share it to your friend if you want. That's always welcome. Now I come back again with some white on all the skeleton parts. Now we are going to start the sword by using some turquoise from Procolor. I always use the whole part of my brush, and as you can see, to push my basic color. And now I make the same right here, and step by step I'm going to add a little bit more white into my turquoise to create my transition and to make my power sword. For the power sword, I'm going to add step by step more and more white into my mix. Every step I do on the shield, and after I come back on the sword, it's more easy for me, because it's going to help me to let the paint be totally dry between the different steps. As you can see, again with more white, I come back and I push my highlight on every edges, and I'm going to create some line of light. Now with a little bit of turquoise, I come back and pushing again my turquoise just to have a better transition between my different elements. And now directly with some white, I'm going to push again highlights on the edges. Now I just come back on these parts of armor just to create a small and very simple freehand. So I'm going to have a skull, and with the volume I'm going to push at beginning all the volume of the skull, and after I'm going to come back on the different side again with some white to create the different element. And now with some black I'm going to push again my contrast to give more deep effect into my freehand. And after that, that will be finished, so I can show you the final result. Don't hesitate once again to support me by subscribe to my channel, by following me on Facebook and Instagram. And by the way, if you want, you can support me on Patreon, so you can have access to a private group, so you can show me your stuff and I can give you directly some advice. See you, bye bye.